Oh boy. Oh boy, we got one for you guys today. Good morning to everyone. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. Liverpool, draw aside, right? We can chat about the game all day long. But the real story coming into today is Mo Salah, dude. Mo Salah's comments. We're just going to talk about this the whole show because, one, there's tons of comments. This isn't just one little sentence that he said to the media. Mo Salah unloaded the clip on Liverpool and Slot and the whole team. Not the whole team, but... And honestly, part of me wants to believe it's AI. Like, that's how much I don't want to believe this is happening. And guys, I'll be honest with you. Right off the bat, all I am going to tell you is how my gut feeling makes me feel with these comments. We'll break down each side, of course. The good, the bad, whose side you're on, right? The sentimental value of everything. I get it. But this comes down to one thing and one thing only. Mo Salah is a professional athlete. Mo Salah is a professional footballer for Liverpool Football Club. He has been our best player for a decade. He will go down as one of the best, if not the best, player in club history after his tenure with the club is over, at least attacking player. Mo Salah has won trophies with this club. Mo Salah has basically carried this team by himself, not by himself, but he's carried this team. All that being said, he is a professional athlete. And as a professional athlete, or any professional for that matter, you do not come out to the media and do what he did. You just don't do it. You don't come out and say, it's very clear that someone wants me to get all the blame. You don't say, the club promised in the summer a lot of promise for me, and so far, I am on the bench for 3 games. All I can say is keep the promises. You don't say, it seems to be me, how I see it, someone does not want me at the club. You don't say that you've earned your spot and you don't understand why you're not playing. Let's stop there and let's break that down. Good morning to everyone who's with us, okay? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. We also have a poll. Let me know whose side you're on. Because frankly, I'm not on anyone's side because I'm not on Slot's side per se. But I am completely against Mo Salah's comments. Okay, so let's stop there with what he said. There are 2 ways to look at this. The sentimental value, the love you have for the player. I get all that, right? But that's like the main thing I'm seeing is like, you're either for Salah because, he's done all this great stuff for the team. He's won everything. Slot, how dare Slot do that? Or I've seen people like against Salah saying like, well, why don't you produce more? Why don't you produce more? It's not about that. I feel like people are missing the point. It doesn't matter if Salah's playing good or bad. You don't go out to the media and do this. This is an internal matter. You keep it internal with the club, with the manager in the locker room. You don't cry to the media. I'm going to be brash with it. You don't cry to the media because you're not playing. You say you earned your spot. Sure. You've played world-class football for 10 years. You also have to understand, Salah, that you've scored 4 in 13 in the Premier League, and we are playing a completely new style of football now And if you're not fitting into that, there's going to be games where you don't play. You don't see Florian Wirtz coming out to the media complaining about why he's benched one game. And, you don't see Gomez. I mean, God, if anyone had a case for not playing, it's Gomez. Right? Like, you don't see Gomez coming out to the media saying, well, Konate's making this mistake. I don't understand why I'm not getting a shot. It's like, what are you doing? Like, we all see, and myself included, I've always seen Salah as this guy with no ego, very down to earth, very professional, and plays for the team, doesn't get into trouble off the field. And that still reigns true. But after this interview, he really messed up. He really let his ego get the best of him, and he made these comments. And if you've seen the video, whether the video is real or not, I don't even know anymore. You can't trust anything anymore. Who knows? Maybe this is all a hoax. Maybe he didn't say any of this. He did. But after this, all I'm going to look at is how Salah, being under contract for a team, mind you, came out and spoke out about how I deserve this. It's all about me. Right? Not considering what the team's going through. The team's in their worst run of form in a millennium. And all you can talk about is yourself to the media? About how you're getting thrown under the bus? About how you earned a spot in the starting 11? About how you're being made as a scapegoat and someone wants you out? Using Harry Kane as an example of Harry didn't score for 10 games. And it's like, dude, you just flipped half of the fan base. What are you doing? Are you that big of a crybaby? You don't play for 3 games and you complain to the media? Why don't you just shut up? Because everyone knows what will happen. If Salah's not playing consistently, people are obviously raising eyebrows like, why isn't Salah playing, right? Over time, the fans will turn against Slot for that decision. Right? And me personally, when I see Salah's not starting, I'm like, the first thing that goes through my head, the very first thing is, all right, well, Slot must be trying something different this game. That is literally the first thing that goes through my head. It's not, what is Slot doing? Salah needs to, because we've seen in this system where Salah is, you look at his heat map. He's kind of just being left up top. I don't know. The system isn't fitting him right now. And so not only just him, but Wirtz and all these other guys, Slot is trying all this new stuff. He's trying to make something work. And if Salah's not producing, he's going to try other things. For me, guys, this boils down to Salah just being completely unprofessional. Whether or not you agree with the decision or disagree with the decision. Because for me, if you have a player like Salah, he plays every game, right? You're not benching Van Dijk, but you don't have anyone else, really. Who are you going to play? You're going to play Konate and Gomez and sit Van Dijk on the bench? That's like way different, I think. I think that's way different because Van Dijk hasn't been phenomenal this year, right? But he is still the best defender you have. And so, well, now when I say that out loud, now I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, is that the same thing? Is it the same thing? Can you call Slot a hypocrite? Because for me, I place Van Dijk and Salah on the same playing field in terms of value to the team. And Salah hasn't been good, so he's getting benched. But we have other options. You have Isak. You have Wirtz. You have Ekitike. You have all of these new players that can fill in and replace the attacking threat. Certainly not replacing the volume that Salah created last year with 28 goals, 19 assists. You're not replacing that. Right? But this season, our production offensively has been dog shit. And so that includes everyone I mentioned. Isak, Ekitike, who had a great game yesterday, but also Salah. I'm going to take a break, collect my thoughts, go over to the chat. Good morning to everyone, by the way. Hannah, a war tank, Alor, what's going on? Yogesh, what's going on, everybody? All right, so let's just go down the comments list right now. Chiesa, Rio, and Joe got worse, and they're still supportive. Chiesa is a great example. The point I was trying to make with, like, if Salah kept his mouth shut, the fans would eventually, right? That's what they've done with Chiesa. Right? Everyone knows when Chiesa comes on, he produces. He's a phenomenal player. And everyone's just like, what did Chiesa do to slot to not earn a starting spot? At least in one of these games, right? Fans aren't stupid, right? They see what's going on. And so that's a good example. But he doesn't come out to the media. Joe hasn't come out to the media. Rio's not coming out to the media. Because that's just not what you do. You go to the manager. You guys, if any of you have watched the Tottenham All or Nothing thing that was on Amazon a few years back when Jose Mourinho was the manager, there's a scene in there where I think it wasn't Kyle Walker. It was, God, I hate that I brought up this example and I can't remember the player, but it was a right back. And he goes into the office and he questions Mourinho. He says, look, you started me against Liverpool. I thought I had a good game and I haven't played since. Like, what's the problem? You didn't hear about it in the media. He went to the manager. Now, behind closed doors, who knows if Salah went to the manager? If he did, he probably would have said something yesterday in the interview because he dropped everything that's happened. But he didn't. He's just decided to come out in the media and cry about how he deserves this, that, and the third. And it's like, where's your professionalism? Why are you letting your ego get to you? Like, regardless if you deserve it or not. I can't remember the last time I've seen a player do this. And not just one comment, guys. This is a full interview, just roasting the club. Yogesh says, be better, not bitter. Aylor says, I might use the phrase symptoms, what you see with Salah. But the fact is, Salah, Konate, McAllister, Gakpo, Isak, they all are way below their level. That is too much of a coincidence. He goes on to say, and when a club have important players out of form or too many injuries, it's curable. But the problems at LFC right now are fundamental, and that, doesn't look curable. Say what you want about Slot looking incompetent in general, but he would really look incompetent if he continued to play the same players and get the same results. He is constantly changing things up, trying to make things work constantly, right? So he is at least trying. Let's go on to some more comments here, okay? He says, this is Salah, quote, I said to my parents, come to the Brighton game. I don't know if I'm going to play or not, but I'm going to enjoy it. I will be at Anfield to say goodbye to the fans and go to the Africa Cup. I don't know what is going to happen when I'm there. Quote, after what I have done for the club, it really hurts. You can imagine, really. I know the club too well. I have been here many years. Tomorrow, Jamie Carragher is going to go for me again and again, and that's fine. You've sat 3 games, Salah. 3 games. What is wrong with you? He goes on to say, I've been at this club scoring more than anyone in this generation since I came to the Premier League. If I have somewhere else, everybody would go to the media and defend the player. I'm the only one in this situation. What? He's the only one in this situation. What are you talking about? Salah, you've been benched for 3 games. 3 games. His ego trumped his self-control. And he is letting his lack of self-control and his ego get the better of him, because these comments are so tone deaf. They're so tone deaf. Your team is struggling. Your team isn't winning constantly. Your team is struggling. And so you see the manager taking all the heat. Slot is taking all the heat, Salah. Week in, week out. You're not helping the team. So what Slot, neither is anyone else. So Slot is making changes. You're 33. We just spent 200 plus million on attackers. He's going to mix it up. And you come out and say, I've been scoring more than any. Bro, this sounds like a comment that like Neymar would make. That like, I'm trying to think of like other players that are just like super arrogant and just like all about themselves, because that's not Salah. He goes on to say, he says, can I give an example? This is the Harry Kane example. He says, it's silly, but I'm sorry. I remember a while ago, Harry Kane was not scoring for 10 games. Bro, he had this in the chamber. He had this example in his bag, and he decided to pull it out. He's been stewing in this. The media were like, oh, Harry will score for sure. When it comes to Mo, everyone is like, he needs to be on the bench. I'm sorry. You're comparing apples to oranges, dude. Bro, who did Tottenham have? They had Kane. They had Son. I don't even know what time period he's referring to. Or are they referring to Bayern Munich? I don't even know what. Is he referring to he must be referring to the time at Tottenham. Who did Tottenham have to fill that gap? They had to play Harry Kane. They had to play Harry Kane. They had no choice. Salah, you are delusional if you think that regardless of your form, you deserve to play week in and week out. And especially if it's only been 3 games. Again, for those of you just joining us, please feel free to leave your personal opinions, because I respect anyone's opinion on this, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. For me, this is a professionalism issue. Mo Salah did what media training is designed to prevent. You have now created a situation, Salah, where you are either going to be dealt with in the sense that we can't have that kind of attitude and we have to get rid of you in January, or then you have created a situation where the club caves, Slot caves, and you play again, and then every single player in that locker room loses the trust in the manager and the club because you weren't held accountable. Is McAllister coming out and complaining? Is Chiesa coming out and complaining? Is Joe Gomez coming out and complaining? Is Robertson coming out and complaining? Is Wirtz coming out and complaining when he sat on the bench? No. The only other side to that argument that you could come back with is, well, you're talking about players that aren't Mo Salah. Mo Salah has done more for this club than any player in the last 100 years or whatever. Great. What has he done for me recently? Has he impacted the team recently? Because when you let emotion and sentiment get in the way of your logical thinking, this is what you end up with. Frankly, I respect the fact that Slot has the balls to bench Salah. Really, bench anybody if they're not playing well. I mean, seriously, isn't that what you want from a manager, to hold people accountable? If they're not playing well, you don't play them. Now, I'm not saying Slot's perfect, because there's the Chiesa concern. Like, Chiesa's great. Why is he not playing? Salah made this so much bigger than it needed to be. I wasn't even thinking about Salah being on the bench. I was thinking about, how can Liverpool get a result? They suck. How can we get some points? And then I see Salah coming out to the media about, you got to play me. I've done more for this club in 10 years, and Harry Kane didn't score, and you played him. Shut up. God, the arrogance, dude. God. And, you can say all you want about how he's been professional through his career, and he's not, and I've said this at the beginning of the show, he's not getting in trouble off the pitch. I firmly believe that. But this is like, he is trying to create a divide. Let's go back over to the chat. Dermot, if anyone has reason to complain, it's Chiesa. Bingo. Aylor says, I don't like to single out players, but when it comes to performance, Konate has match-defining worse in so many matches this season and still starts. Right. Okay. Fair point. So this is kind of what the point I was going with like there's clearly a divide between defense and attack. Because when you look at Konate has been, he hasn't been the worst player, but he's been the most inconsistent player. He has matches where he's great, and then he has matches where he makes bonehead mistakes, right? So why hasn't he sat him? Well, it could be a trust thing with Gomez. It could be the fact that you really don't have an option, because you need Gomez to fill in at either fullback spot, right? There's different, we don't have the depth. In attack, we have the depth. That's the only thing I could think of. Like benching, like when we benched Salah yesterday, there wasn't an uproar, because you look at the team sheet and you're like, oh my God, okay, we're fine. We have Gakpo, Ekitike, Wirtz, Soboslai, Gravenberch. Like, you're looking at that, you're like, all right, we're fine. We're not lacking anywhere attacking wise. But if you take Konate out, you take Van Dijk out, you're like, wait a minute, Van Dijk's on the bench and he's healthy? What are we doing? You got to play him. And there's not that same sentiment with Salah right now because of how he's been playing. All right, back over here. Konate only starts because there's no cover for him. This is exactly what I was getting at, Hannah. Great point. That's exactly what I was getting at. God in Control says, no one is bigger than the club, period. You cannot let your emotions and sentiment and love for a player cloud the logical judgment, guys. This team is dog shit right now. The team. And if you stick with the same exact thing that has been giving you these results, you're liable. And I feel like SALAH knows that, and that's why he keeps changing things up. A war tank here says, Konate was shite, but unfortunately our defensive depth is very lacking. Everyone knows this. That's the difference. That's the difference. Yep. In truth, we're all slagging SALAH endlessly. Then SALAH went out and spoke to the media. That's the thing, right? Like, most of the fan base is like, understands like SALAH needs to get this team together. And the thing is that the club knows, the team knows, the manager knows, and the fans know that this is not up to par. We see SALAH trying to make changes. We see SALAH actively doing things to affect results on the pitch. Okay. And we've seen reports saying that the club are 100% behind Arne Slot. And so we kind of have to accept that as a fan base at face value and just say, all right, we got to deal with the results until they decide to sack him, whatever. Okay. I just think this is totally different because SALAH just basically came out and made all of this about him. Whereas the fans were upset with Slot because of the team's results. The team wasn't producing, right? SALAH is making this about, well, what about me? Me. Why am I not playing? Right? I've done so much for this club. Why am I not playing? Do you realize what's going on with your club right now? Like, right now, and it's not just you, SALAH. It's not your problem. It's the team as a whole. But we're not winning. Do you see that? And so in that time, you come out to the media and complain about yourself. He must have gotten a call from his agent or his PR person after he made those comments. And they must have been like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Now, if SALAH wants a move after 3 games on the bench, that is even funnier. That's actually comical because he's going to force his way out. Maybe his agent said, hey, if you don't want to be there after being benched for 3 games, 3 games, see you later. I don't need that attitude. That is when your team is losing and you have one player that's like that, oh my God. Dude, oh my God. Good morning to What a Crock. Aylor says, do you believe for a moment that a manager like Klopp would allow this to happen? Remember our big crisis with major injuries in defense for a season and our midfield collapsing? Klopp got us tough. Yeah, Klopp was definitely a different manager. Right now, though, with SALAH, it's just about SALAH right now. I saw a comment in here. PC White here says, I want to out. I'm 100% Slot. I guess he was with Slot. Okay, I'm 100% Slot on this. SALAH, stop being a prima donna on this and get out of your bubble. It's just completely unprofessional. I agree. Now, we have Slot has no man management skills. Get this guy out. Okay. So, 2 can be true. You can feel that Slot doesn't have any man management skills. But even so, that does not justify what SALAH did. Aylor says, Klopp got only twice 100 mil to net spend, and Arne Slot got 400 mil in his second season. There's a difference here, isn't there? So I thought about that too. Also, I mean, maybe Klopp wanted to look for a certain type of player, right? Like, I don't know. There's probably books and articles out there that give me a more deep dive into how things were done, Maybe if I read Pep Linder's book or something like that, but the only book I've read is the Roberto Firmino book, right? And that's more so about him and about how Klopp did great. My point being is that you can't managers are completely different. Slot clearly has this idea of if you give me the best players, we can create a good team with a possession-based style attack. And to be honest with you, it's not working right now. And that could be down to chemistry or whatever. But you go back and you think about how Klopp created his team. Klopp created a team that was just relentless pressure. And he had the ideology that if you win the ball higher up the pitch, you can bypass this buildup, this creativity. You're in a better spot already to score. And so you don't really need a creator. You just need people who are relentlessly pressing and want the ball back and then can finish. That was Klopp's whole idea. Whereas Slot is literally the polar opposite. We're not going to press. We're going to get the ball. We're going to be okay out of possession, right? But when we have possession, we're just going to take our time. And it's not working right now. It's not working for anybody. Everyone's stats across, like yesterday was an enigma. It was an anomaly. I saw Ekitike score 2 goals, and I'm like, tell me guys watching that game yesterday, when you see us score 3 goals in a game, you weren't like, whoa, this feels so good again. When was the last time you felt that? Frankfurt? Like, when was the last time you felt like every goal we scored, except the first one was a mistake for Leeds, but when was the last time you felt like, oh, this is fun football to watch? Because I have felt very, very bored watching Liverpool for the most part all season. So it's probably the style of play. But once the team clicks, it's just like any other possession style of football. It's gonna be enjoyable to watch. Here says Klopp had much more control over transfers than Slot. Slot is just a coach. Here we go. Slot has publicly criticized players before. Can't have it both ways. Slot has lost the dressing room. It's clear. Well, no, it's only clear that he's lost Salah. I mean, there's questions raised about his interactions in the dressing room right now, for sure, with how the team's performing and all that. But we would know if they lost the dressing room. We would know. I don't think he's lost the dressing room. You also have to understand too, and we've talked about this, Slot's not Klopp. Slot's not going to give you a hug and make you feel all warm and cozy inside. Slot's all business. If you don't perform, you're benched. Guys, Kwanzaa had a bad half and he got sold. I mean, guys, he just doesn't have time for bullshit. And the part that's probably really bothering him is that he has this no-nonsense approach and he's still not getting results. So he's really trying everything at this point. I need to wet my palate here. My throat's dry. It's closing up. I feel like I'm in a higher pitch. And let's see what other comments Salah made. Arne Slot on Mo Salah. Quote, we have to accept the situation we're in. The short-term future of Mo is he goes to AFCON in a week time. We play Inter before that. Okay? Remember that, guys. This could be, and this is me just kind of thinking outside the box, this could be a situation of Slot trying to prepare the team to play without Salah before he's gone. Now, that's just me being optimistic, right? Don't know for a fact. Instead of just Salah leaving and then being like, oh, crap, we got to adapt without him, which Klopp has done in years past. But with this new system and the fact we don't have production, I'm just telling you guys. I'm just telling you. All right? What else we got? Arne Slot on Mo Salah benched, right? When the media asked about benching Mo Salah. It's never an easy decision because we all know what a great player he is, right? Addresses the concern. But it's also up to me to pick the team that I think we need today. That's why I made the decision. It's all it is. It's literally all it is. And Salah's making it about him. Me. Oh, poor me. I didn't play for 3 games. Meanwhile, my team is dog shit. But poor me, what I've done for this club, the entitlement, dude, it's so out of left field for him. This is not Mo Salah, and he makes the oh God. Whew, here we go. Let's roll with some hot takes here. Salah is bigger than Slot, period. Sack Slot, keep Salah till the end of the season for proper farewell. So, Solin Tetson, I'm just going to call you Solin here. I'll pose you with a question. Is that your emotion talking, or is that logic? Because logically, if you sack Slot, well, who are you getting? Gerrard? Gerrard couldn't get Aston Villa in the top half of the table. And you're only sacking Slot to keep Salah to the end of the season for a farewell? Doesn't make any sense. What a Croc says, at least we're not losing 2 wingers to AFCON. Yeah, with Mane and Salah going every year, that was really, really, really rough. Aylor says, here's the problem. Edwards and his staff do not work well with Klopp. Edwards is so power hungry. I don't know anything about this. That he doesn't even want a manager anymore at our club, and that's why Slot is only a coach. Okay. I don't think Edwards being power hungry has anything to do with this. Edwards has not steered us wrong, ever. You can point to transfers that didn't work out. Darwin, Keita. Really, outside of those two, and then obviously we have some question marks now, right? You have question marks around Wirtz and Isak, but you can't make a decision on those. I mean, I don't even know if Edwards was at the club with Benteke. People call Benteke a flop. Benteke was not a flop. He just didn't fit Klopp's system, so they had to sell him. He was a Brendan Rodgers signing. He didn't do bad. He had double-digit goals that year. But anyways, that's besides the point. That's something that has always bothered me since, I don't know why. It's really bothered me. Regardless, though, all these dynamics behind the scenes are just speculation. All we have really, I mean, unless there's something out there that I don't know. Oh, sorry. Oh, I did not want to delete the comment. Sorry about that. What's worse, Salah just reminded me that he used to threaten. Oh. So this is just making me think of War Tank. But I do remember when Salah would get pulled, when he would get subbed off. And I mean, he would get upset. So did Trent. I mean, players get upset when they're subbed off. That's fine. It happens, right? And then Mane and Salah got into it and all that stuff happens. That's just the competitive nature of all these players. It's literally all it is. And maybe if I'm trying to just wear rose-colored glasses, I'm going to look at this situation as, oh, Salah's just upset because he hasn't played, but everything's fine. He's going to be okay. He's going to go to AFCON. He's going to come back and everything's going to be fine. I think this goes beyond that. These are direct comments to the media talking about how you deserve X because you did X, and you don't know why you're being thrown under the club or thrown under the bus by the club. Nothing about how I want our team to win. I think I give our team the best chance to win. Just all about me. And it's so unprofessional. And I want to go because really I can't go. I've been to Anfield Agenda's comments section. I've been to Anfield Sector, Anfield Edition, the Anfield Raps comment sections. I've gone to all of these comment sections just to kind of see what people are saying. And it's obviously split down the middle. I mean, it's literally split down the middle. But really the only one I trust is like the Redman TV's comment section. Because I don't know. But let's go to the comment section, okay? So this is the top comment. Sad situation, but he can't complain about not starting. He simply hasn't been good enough this season. Winning football games isn't about romanticism. I literally couldn't agree more. People are just so emotional in this situation, and it's like you can't do that. You have to realize the team sucks. Now, here's the other side of it. It's Slot's going to bench players for not performing. There are a few others who should be warming the bench also. I do agree with that. Seems like he's on some sort of power trip trying to humiliate Salah. Don't agree with that. He's lost the dressing room and should probably throw the towel in. So a lot of people see it this way, but this is a more logical way to look at it. It's not like, oh, Slot's lost the dressing room, Slot out, right? It's like, okay, there have been other players, i.e. Konate, who haven't played up to their potential and should be benched. The problem is, who is playing for Konate? Gomez? Okay. Gomez has been good. But then you play Gomez and Van Dijk. And if you have injuries at fullback, who's covering fullback? Right? There's not as much depth. You don't have as much coverage. In attack, you do. Another comment here says, he's not been good enough this season, so has understandably been dropped for a few games, which most fans wanted. Bingo. Then decides to throw Slot under the bus when he's under pressure. Pretty childish and arrogant behavior, honestly, regardless of what he's done for the club. That's where I'm at. That sums up perfectly where I'm at. Right there. Your manager and your team are under tremendous pressure to perform. And you decide to make the comments to the media about how the club is throwing you under. It is just so tone deaf. It's so tone deaf. A clueless manager makes you blame your stars one by one until you're suddenly blaming the entire squad. You can't treat Salah like shit. That's too... See, again, everyone is split on this. And then the Gakpo hate. That's a whole nother thing. Everyone's saying like Gakpo offers nothing. And it's just like, I don't see it that way. Gakpo has the same stats. He has one extra assist in the Premier League as Salah in 2 more matches. He honestly has this pretty much the same exact stats as Salah. Virtually identical. And then Irish Dazzler says, didn't Slot throw that? So I made that point earlier, right? Slot is like a no-nonsense guy. Like if you're not performing, you're benched. So Kwanzaa had a bad half. See you later. Sold, right? Didn't agree with that. But it's kind of like, Kwanzaa didn't go to the media or anything. I mean, maybe he did, but his comments were just kind of like, oh, see, okay. He made that comment. That's fine. The thing is it's one thing to directly address individual player performances, right? So, for example, when Slot was asked about bringing Kwanzaa off, I honestly think it might have been a preseason game or maybe it was the very first game of last season. But he was asked about why Kwanzaa was brought off at halftime. And he said there were like some duels that he didn't win or maybe something along those lines. He was like, that's not good enough. So he benched him, right? Who's to say that behind the scenes, Kwanzaa and Slot didn't get into it, and Kwanzaa was pissed off about it, and that's why he was sold, right? So it's one thing for the manager to go to the media and directly address questions about a specific player. That's not throwing them under the bus, I don't think. Now, some have more media training than others. You think about the Jose Mourinho's of the world. You think about Klopp, for example. You just think about certain managers who are either very, very neutral on everything, or they don't have a problem being direct to the media. I actually don't agree with any manager, regardless, discussing anything about a player in the media. Like, for example, if someone asked me about Konate's penalty yesterday, right? I wouldn't say my opinion on it. I would just be like, it was called a penalty, and as a team, we have to deal with that, right? I wouldn't address anything about Konate. That would be my approach to it, because it's not their business, and the media is going to run with it. So Slot's not perfect, no, but never has Slot done anything like this, like what Salah just did. Irish Dazzler says, that's the problem, Kyle. Slot can't manage superstar players like Ten Hag. Is this sarcasm? Or are you, wait, hold on. Are you saying he can't do it similar, just like Ten Hag can't do it? Or are you saying Ten Hag can manage superstar players and Slot can't? Because before I react, I want to make sure I know what you're saying. And so, Irish Dazzler, just going back to your point, Wirtz hasn't started every game. Slot has benched Wirtz. Slot has benched Isak. This is where people are forgetting. Like, if you bring up the stats thing, he is benching everyone who's not performing. Wirtz, there was like a 2 or 3 game period where Wirtz didn't start. And it's like he is spreading the responsibility to everyone. The only player who has consistently played is Gakpo, Konate, Van Dijk, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch. So you have 5 players that have pretty much continuously played. And say what you want, right? But Szoboszlai has been our best player. Gravenberch has been he has not been the level he's been last year, but he has been consistent. All right. I don't know where the Gakpo hate comes from. I think Gakpo is consistently one of the best players on the pitch in the attacking half. And what I mean is, I'm not saying he's producing the most goals or anything. I mean, he has the same production as Salah. But what I'm saying is, he's not giving the ball away. The amount of times he was in dangerous areas yesterday trying to get a shot off, I can think of at least 3 or 4. And he does that every game. He's always in and around the 18-yard area, either trying to cut in and get a shot off, or laying it off, or doing 1-2s on the overlapping run. It doesn't matter. He's always in there doing something. I don't know where the Gakpo hate comes from. I've never understood it. I think Gakpo is fine. I think Gakpo is great, especially on the wing. Through the middle under Klopp, he wasn't. But as soon as he played over on that wing, it's like new player. But going over to Hannah, I feel like a lot of people are missing a fundamental point here. This drama is the last thing the team needs. Couldn't agree more. This selfish act of Salah creates more drama, and the club already has enough drama. Thank you, Nikki. Oh, ruining. I thought you said running attacks. Okay, we're comparing him to Mane. That's fine. If you bench Gakpo, who are you putting on left wing? How many times yesterday? Let me pose you a question. There were 2 or 3 times yesterday where Ekitike picked the ball up on the left side of the pitch. And instead of sprinting to the byline, squaring up with the defender and trying to either dribble by him or cut back in, he slowed down, turned his back to goal, and laid it off, right? Gakpo won't do that. Gakpo will attempt to dribble by and progress the ball up the pitch. Okay? No one else on the left wing is going to do. Chiesa, maybe. I don't understand why Rio isn't playing. That's another one, but that's, I mean, you're not going to start Rio. But again, guys, this is what it comes down to. You can compare Gakpo to Mane or Diaz. That's fine. Gakpo is the most consistent attacker. That's why most of our attacks start on the left side. We funnel the ball into the left channel pretty much every attack. Now, yesterday, there were a lot of points in time where Wirtz was over on the right side because I think he was playing right wing yesterday, if I remember correctly. And so we did have the ball over there trying to have some link-up play between Wirtz and Ekitike or Wirtz and Bradley or whoever was over there. Gakpo's been fine. That's what I'm getting at. Gakpo's been fine. I'm starting Mo on the left before starting Gakpo. All right. There you go. Oh, I already had that one. The issue with Gakpo is that he wastes too much good attacking opportunities by making the wrong decisions over and over again. So I've seen that as well. I think what Gakpo offers, though, is he consistently gets into dangerous areas. He consistently gets the ball into dangerous areas. And the whole team is making wrong decisions. I can't tell you how many times I've seen two things about Wirtz. One, he's a step slow. He's literally just a fraction of a second slow with his touches, his decision-making. Everything is just a fraction off. If he fixed that, Wirtz would have had like 5 chances created yesterday. The amount of times he tried to flick the ball over the defensive line or just make a through ball, and it was off. I mean, he has the right idea in mind. But anyways, back to Gakpo. The whole team does it. The whole team has the chemistry just isn't quite there yet. Gakpo consistently gets in and around that 18-yard box. Consistently, regardless if he shoots and it's blocked or he tries to make a cross and it's blocked, regardless, Gakpo, watch that game yesterday. How many times he took his player on and at least tried to create something compared to every other player. Gakpo did it 5 times more. I'm telling you. Irish Dazzler says, come on, Kyle. Salah's been our top goal scorer the past 8 seasons. Gakpo has no credit in the bank and is predictable. Slot likes him because he's Dutch. Okay, you could say that. Number 1, top goal scorer the last 8 seasons, absolutely. Salah's been great the last 8 seasons. Even last season, unbelievable. Last season might have been his best or second best season. Obviously, the first season was the best, but it was unbelievable, Salah's season last year. Saying Gakpo has no credit is a little harsh because Gakpo has been good. Okay? I mean, I can't think of his stats of last year off the top of my head. But if I were going to pull it up, okay? So last season in the Premier League, he had 10 goals, 4 assists, and 35 matches. All right? So 14 goal contributions. He had 3 goals and 1 assist in the Champions League. Then he had 4 goals in the EFL Cup. So, I got to do math here. I hate math. So 13 and 5, 18 and 6. So he had 18 and 6 in all comps last year. It's not bad at all, by any means. That's not bad at all. That's Gakpo. It's not world class, but the guy, he's producing, right? I mean, I really don't see a problem with that production. I mean, let's compare it to We don't have to compare it, but where is this? All right, so Alor, I do agree with this. Okay, so there were tons of times that Kirkez was doing overlapping runs and Gakpo didn't lay it off to him. I do agree there. Yeah. Okay. So look, two things can be true. Gakpo can make mistakes, not making the right pass, making the wrong decision, giving the ball up. Sure, that's fine. Okay. The whole team is doing that, though. The whole team in the final third isn't quite making the correct decisions. They're seeing what they need to do, right? But it's just not working out, right? I think what was interesting yesterday is Curtis Jones. The thing about Gakpo's getting right up on his defender. He's taking his defender on, and he's doing little dummies, little fake shots just to try to create space and shoot. Most times I feel like it's blocked, even whether it's a cross or a shot. Or if he lays it off, it might be an ill-timed pass or whatever. Same thing's happening with Wirtz. Wirtz is trying these little 1-2s, and the through passes off, or the defender gets in the line, whatever. Curtis Jones yesterday had that curler that was off the crossbar. Okay, for some reason to me that just stuck out as like, maybe we need to just shoot more. Do you guys remember under Klopp we had that people just weren't shooting from outside the box? And when I saw Curtis Jones take that shot yesterday, I'm like, holy crap, maybe we just need to start shooting more. Just shoot. Just rip a shot. You know? That crossed my mind. But look, Irish Dazzler, Alor, I can agree with everything you're saying about Gakpo, but these criticisms are of every player. You can find criticisms on every single player about their performance, right? But what Gakpo offers us consistently is Gakpo will take on his defender, will get in and around the 18-yard box, and now we can set up for our super slow possession-based attack that's becoming boring. And he does offer us goals. He is dangerous. If you are not right up on Gakpo, forcing him to make a decision, he is dangerous. And I know all of you can agree with that. So that's where I'm at. Shout out to Oyvind, by the way. I missed this earlier, but Oyvind's back in the chat. He's been a member for 53 months. We are all still alive. Barely breathing, but still alive. Oyvind, hope you're doing well, man. And so Irish Dazzler says, and we'll leave it with this. For those of you just tuning in, the show's been heavy about Salah for about 45 minutes. And now we're just kind of chatting about all the different nuances in the team and things like that. But ultimately, Salah's lack of professionalism in the media yesterday, I think, was very tone deaf, short-sighted, and completely against who I thought Salah was. I mean, very, very arrogant for him to do that. Regardless of how you feel, that needs to be addressed behind closed doors. But to Irish Dazzler's point here, or question, Kyle, if we lose to Inter and Brighton, would you want Slack sacked then? Certainly more than I do now. And the thing is if you guys have been here for a while, you know me, I'm not super passionate about anything one way or the other. I just want the team to do well, right? I'm not always about selling players. I'm not always about I'm especially not about sacking the manager. I hate that there's this culture in professional sports where it's like you immediately sack the coach or fire the coach the second something goes wrong, when it's the players that have to get the result, right? So, to answer your question, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel if we lose to Inter and if we lose to Brighton. I don't know how I'm going to feel. Two draws on the bounce in the Premier League. The PSV loss was rough. I think that's the lowest I've been. That's the most I've been slot out. When we lost to PSV, I was talking with Steven and I was basically like, how? At Anfield. This is the lowest the club has been. So, And if the organization didn't fire him then, it's hard for me to see a situation where he's not fired this season. He just sticks the season out. So I can't answer the question right now because I'm not in that mindset of, oh, I just want slot sacked. Like I want Salah sold. I don't think that way. I'm just like, why? Like, just fix the problems. Just go out and play. You have the team. You have a manager who just won you the league. You've had all the resources, a great summer window. You have the best fans in the world. You have the best stadium in the world. You have everything. Figure it out. You are not wanting for anything as a club right now except consistent results. So the team and the manager need to figure it out. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, guys. Just want to say thank you to everyone who consistently tunes in, and especially those who leave your thoughts throughout the show. You got this show with life changing and stuff. For those of you who are here, life has changed and things are different now. I can't produce content as much as I used to. With my daughter being born, having a new job, that sort of stuff. And so, whoops, let me pause that. Okay. And so I just appreciate you guys. I literally hit pause twice and it's not pausing. Unbelievable. 3 times I've hit pause, guys, and it keeps playing. And so I just want to thank you guys for continuously showing up. And going over to the poll that we posted in the chat, 43% of you are on Salah's side. 43%. So let's see what the rest of you guys are at. 13% are on Slot's side, but also 43% of you neither. So it's split. I'm more so on Slot's. I'm not on Slot's side. I'm so against what Salah did. Let's put it that way. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for participating in today's show. Appreciate everyone who tunes in. Channel members, Hannah, Oyvind, congrats on 53 months. I think it was 53. And hopefully we'll see you guys next weekend. Until then, Reds, take care.